Thank you,
Yes.
and happy International Mountain Day to all. First of all, I would like to also thank all the organizers and all the professors and academicians within the region and beyond. I've been listening to the presentations for, I think, since around 4:30, and I found all the presentations very interesting and very, very relevant. Now, I would not want to repeat all the things that have been already said. I think the issues are similar across the globe, across all the mountains. The vulnerability, fragility, all those narratives, I think, is same. And also the impact of climate change on our cryosphere, our glaciers and glacial lakes and river systems, on the livelihoods of people are very much same. But I want to focus on the link between climate change and the coronavirus pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. If you really think about it, and I think there is now growing evidence that the root causes of these two are same. So if you address climate change issues, I think we will also be reducing the incidences of pandemics in future. The root causes are same because I think the pandemic has to do with the increasing contact between humans and animals. And why increasing contact between humans and wildlife, wild animals, is because we are encroaching into the habitats of wildlife. We are urbanizing more and more. We are building infrastructures. We are polluting the water system. We are polluting the air, and all this is leading to the occurrences to the pandemic, breakouts of pandemics, and I think this is not going to be the last if we are not careful. So that is the area that I want to touch. And more specifically, I want to focus on the impact of this COVID-19 on the mountains and mountain people. Now, there are positives and there are negatives. If you look at the positive side, I think there has been reports of people sighting Mount Everest from New Delhi, which means the air pollution has decreased, visibility has increased, air has become cleaner, and all this because of the reduced movement, the air transport, surface transport, and also events like what we are having now. Instead of meeting in a big conference hall somewhere, some having to travel thousands of miles, you know, we are just meeting virtually. So all this helped to purify the air, help the atmosphere, gave the earth a chance to heal. So this is very positive. Negative side, again, there are so many incidences, where we have people coming back, from across, those who have went out came back to the mountains, putting more pressure on the resources, putting more pressure on the limited, infrastructure and so on. So there are also negatives that we have to look at that. And on the people, especially, I think the impact has been tremendous. Our people were ill prepared for such a shock. The supply chains were disrupted. The market chains were disrupted. Food commodities cannot be brought up to the mountains. The mountain produces cannot be brought to the market. The tourism industry is badly affected, and I'm happy that my professor uh, Pidambar Sharma is there. So if I don't talk about tourism, he will not be very pleased. So the whole tourism industry is affected very badly. Along with that, the loss of jobs, loss of income, loss of livelihood sources. So there has been tremendous negatives as well from this impact of COVID-19. Now, without taking too much time, I would like to just talk about some of the solutions that even just before me, Professor Netra Chetri, I think he brought out the essence of that. I think now we have to recognize, learn lessons from this pandemic and see how we can actually address some of the challenges that the mountain areas are facing. I think uh, we have, just a second, I have some notes here. We have to now go back to basics. I think people have realized that the sustainable agriculture, which means banking on those traditional crops which are resistant to climate shocks, drought, or even sometimes heavy rainfalls and so on. So these crops are resistant, and I think integration of that with also livestock, traditional livestock, integrated farming system is more resilient than monocropping. So that is something that we need to do. We need to also be more sustainable in local production of energy. For example, alternative renewable energy from solar and from micro hydro, from biogas, etc. Because one of the things that was noticed was when people have started to use LBG for cooking, and suddenly the supply couldn't come, then they were not even able to cook their food. So that kind of disruption is there. So the adoption of local technologies, locally suitable technologies, is also very important. And then the transboundary cooperation. Because if you don't have agreements, if you don't have an agreed agreements between nations for movement of goods and services, then we are stuck. So the supply chain, as I said, will be cut off and so on. So there are so many lessons that we need to take on board. Now, as far as EC mode is concerned, we have come up with a COVID-19 response plan in terms of intervention in policies, intervention in programs and actions, and I think that is available if you available on the web, and you can check, what are those policy issues that we are recommending. But what gives me much hope and optimism is that our 8 regional member countries have come together to sign a document, the declaration, which commits with the commitment to come together to take actions to address climate change issues, to address livelihood issues, to address the preparedness for future events like this pandemic. So this happened on the 15th of October, on the day I joined ICIMOD as the Director General, the new Director General, and I have reasons to believe that this is a historic moment that would actually uh, herald a new beginning for ICIMOD and regional cooperation to address issues of climate change as well as emerging challenges like the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you very much. I am sorry for taking a bit long, but I thought I will touch on this nexus between climate change and COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you, Professor. Back to you.